This training is on the layout of ClientTrack and how to navigate through its key elements. You'll understand how to enter into your organization's workgroup and the different workspaces and their menu items in which you'll be entering or retrieving data. The first thing to do is to log into your organization's workgroup. To do this, click on the circular icon with your initials on the top right hand of the page, and that opens up the workgroup menu. The workgroup is simply your continuum of care or a specialized group where you can enter and retrieve information. Next, select your organization, and you may also select your project under the location, but that is not necessary. Then apply. Once you're in your organization's workgroup, you can go to the very left navigation pane, which is where the workspaces are. The first workspace is the home workspace. The next one is clients. Third is providers, followed by housing. Final workspace are reports. Additionally, in this navigation pane, you have a favorite icon where you can enter your favorite work items. And then at the very bottom is a little question mark icon to submit any issues or ask a question. When you select the first workspace, the home workspace, it will open up the menu items found in that workspace and put you on the landing page, which is the dashboard. The dashboard menu items consist of an annual assessment tracker for those programs with clients over a year, and it will show you all clients at this time that require an annual assessment to be done. Next on your dashboard is your agency and your overall HMIS news. The top is news from your HMIS administrator, followed by news that your organization may put in HMIS. The following item in your dashboard are your current program enrollments, which lists all your enrollments for all projects in your organization over the past 12 months. This is then followed by your assigned cases, and the clients there will be listed. The last two items in your home workspace is particular to the East and the East coordinated entry system. The East and the West have different coordinated entry systems, and in this presentation, all is based on the East, and you may find some files and reports related to coordinated entry that you will not find in the West. The request for any coordinated entry referrals, where if you have an opening that needs to be filled, you can submit this, create one, and submit it to coordinated entry, followed by the statuses of your coordinated entry enrollment. The next workspace is a client's workspace, which is where you'll be able to gather or enter information related to your client. When you open that workspace, it will take you to the client's dashboard. The first window in the dashboard gives you the client's basic demographic and basic client information. The next window is the client's enrollment in your program and in other programs. This is where you can edit, update, or close out a client from your enrollment. This then is followed by the client's coordinated entry intake notes. Next is the services window where you can enter and edit the services your client is receiving from you. And the final window is about the client's coordinated entry events, referrals, and enrollments. The client workspace is where you would do an intake and enrollment into your project with that client. The intake and enrollment has several steps that follow each other in succession, and that is called a workflow. There are times you may pause the workflow to be able to continue at a later time, and this is also the place where you can resume that by hitting the paused workflows icon. Next is the profile folder, which contains client information and case manager information. The top section is where you can view and edit information related to your client, and the bottom are your case manager notes and tools. Following the profile is the enrollment and services folder. This is where you can add services and make referrals to services. The folder titled Common Assessments is where you can view all the different sub-assessments related to your client and the client's intake. It is R for read-only, and you're encouraged to make any changes in the actual workflow of the intake. And the following folders are project-specific assessments, which completes the client workspace. The third workspace is the provider's workspace. Here you can search for other providers or your own. But the landing page for the provider workspace is the provider dashboard, which will list all the clients that have been referred to your provider by coordinated entry. Relatedly, in the East, if you have a referral to make or have an opening where you need a referral from coordinated entry, this is where you would enter a request for CE referrals. Next in this workspace is the provider folder, and here you can look up referrals to a selected provider using a search form by outcome or by service type and the referral date. Following that, there is the services menu item where you can look up different services and set up different services that your organization will provide. The fourth workspace, housing, is rarely used, and it's only used for facilities that have beds and units for entering clients into specific room and beds in that facility. The next workspace is where you will run reports that are of interest to you or your organization. There are reports on client lists, like the client list report, the HMIS active client lists, and other specific population reports. There are also specific reports run on clients that you can search. For instance, if you want to have a list of all your clients and their income and entry and exit as an example. Coordinated entry and coordinated entry access sites have their own folder here where they can run different coordinated entry reports as instructed by their coordinated entry specific training. In the reports section, you will also find important exports required by HUD, such as the COC APR, or the ESG papers, and the CSV exports. The last folder is a catch-all folder for other reports where you can find the active client list and different specific reports. There will be a folder for all reports, which will list all the reports in alphabetical order. Next on the vertical menu is the favorites icon, and this is simply where you would add different menu items, clicking on them as your favorites so that you can easily find them. The final item on the menu bar is the Issues and Questions icon. There you can report an issue or ask a question and make a suggestion. On all workspaces, a Training Materials menu item is available for you to access any topic that's related to HMIS. Finally, if you do not know where to locate a menu item or a report or a function, just simply type something in the search bar on top and you'll be likely able to locate it. And that concludes the various workspace and work groups in ClientTrack.